just drop in. I don't know when you're coming. I don't know how to go find you. And so how do I communicate with you? And so this is where Blooming Health has really been helpful in all of these particular areas. And so when they came to me, they were talking to me about the older adult centers. We have those, and I think that's great. I want to let people know about calendars. I want to let people know about the events. But I was saying, wait a minute, but we can use this in the supportive housing side. Property management, right? So here, tenants didn't want to sign the extermination list based on privacy concerns. You got to go downstairs and put your name on the list. Y'all know about that?
Yeah.
Right? And so now we do a survey function every first of the month before a week before the extermination. Do you want extermination, yes or no? If you put yes, we will make sure the exterminator comes to you. If you put no, we won't bother you. Right? And so now I've solved a couple of things. In one, I'm reaching a little bit more people who might say yes, and I'm dealing with the privacy concerns. So the survey that was intentionally used for assessment, which we still use it for, now we're using it on the property management side in that way. Communication between social work staff and property staff about programs and buildings, so that's easy. That's the flyers that we then translated into. Sometimes we still do the flyers, but now we can put the flyers one on every floor instead of one on every door. And so now we can sort of move that to the text, move that to email or whatever people prefer. Again, the translating was very important because, again, that one flyer, we know that people tell us too, I need that in a different language, and we say, I know, but we don't have the staff or the capacity to try to get that there. So this being built in the system gives me all of that help. And again, that data aspect of things was very helpful as well. Again, you can see the extermination list. We created the surveys. Tenants get it in their own language. And in terms of assessment, we're also using it from the social work standpoint. So I talked about property management, but we know we have the social services in the building. And so at the beginning of COVID, we made phone calls to every tenant and 3,000 senior center members to be able to see, do you need a vaccine? Do you need testing? All of those sort of things. And it was phone calls. We were closed, but we were open. We had our kitchen staff. Since we couldn't cook, we had them making phone calls. We had our operations staff, since it was nothing to clean, making phone calls, and we were just making phone calls. And so, that's a lot of people making phone calls. And then you had the struggle of getting that information all into one place to be able to have any action. And so this actually helped in that. Those same phone calls, now we do a survey that push that button, goes out to everybody in the room, and now you make a decision to either respond or not. For those who respond, so I have staff that say, well, you have 290 people and only 75 people responded. I said, so what? That is great. Now, what we have to do now is take those 75 responses and go target those. Now we can do targeted work. Because what are the case sizes? So in our building, unfortunately, it's 50. In our other buildings, it's 80. Those are HUD and other things. And that's because we don't have social service funding driven in those buildings. In the buildings where you do have homeless persons, then we do have more money to be able to have more social workers. But even to lower that and things, this helps me, whereas I can't necessarily put a new social worker in, but I can be more efficient and effective with how I get information out and then be targeted to the people who are saying, I really want this help. The SNAP benefits, it was going to be sort of reduced. We were able to push out a survey, and so people said, yes, I'm a little nervous, I want your help. So I'm able to target that. And then we can come back around to target other people or see what's going on from there. But again, the hot water is one of the biggest things that are happening because that's the one that they enjoy the most. is that you never tell me when the hot water is out, you never tell me when the elevator is down. And that's been the biggest coup of the system for us, is being able to get out messages. We can tell you that it's out, and we can tell you that it's back on. And so, again, as much as we have the staff to just push those messages out, and I can do that on Saturday at home if I get the information from a phone call that comes to me as well. And lastly, I think one of the things that we actually went to get grants. So primary care physicians. I don't know, I know from the electronic record that I have in one of my buildings 290 people, and I look in the electronic record and I might see a primary care physician for 100 of them. And I can know that 50 of those are going to the primary care physician that's inside of the building. 50 may have a private, and then I have blank spaces. And so my question is, why do we have blank spaces? Did we not ask people about it? Do they just not have anyone? And we know what the research says, that I can thrive if I'm doing some preventative care. So I want to not see blank spaces, or if I see blank spaces, I want to know that it's blank for a reason. And so what this has been able to do is we embarked on getting some private funding to help us use Blooming Health to do two things. One, clean up our data, using the surveys, reaching out to people. Do you have a primary care physician? Yes or no? We try to keep it simple. Yes or no? You're saying yes. Well, then I'm looking at my data. You said yes, but I don't have anything in there. So now the social work goes to you to be able to check on that and see what's happening. I could not answer the question of how many people actually saw the doctor in the building. How many of those folks were primary care? And so we've worked out the electronic record so that we can see that, and we've actually changed some of our service types in our electronic record too, so that we have a Blooming Health service type, so that I can then measure the impact of those surveys as it relates to when we send it out, how many people said that they wanted help, how many people responded. How many people did we respond to? So we've been trying to use the technology in various ways, and we couple in other technologies. Canva. You're using Canva to do flyers, best thing in the world. I love it. And if you don't know, Canva is free for nonprofit organizations. They'll get you up to 80 people with the pro version. So you stop paying $100 for just one person. That's another tip. So we took Canva and we developed you can do a web link for the flyers. So we had some politicians come in because it was election time. We're older adults. We have a polling station. They vote and they come see us. And so we had a slew of folks in New York who were coming in. And they kept changing the time. If you know that I'm coming Wednesday at 1, then it's Thursday at 2, then it's Saturday at 5. And so what we were able to do is push it out through Blooming Health. We used the Canva link so that every time it was updated, we just updated the Canva link and we just sent out Blooming Health notices. Now prior to that, you would have to update. I did 290, I'm just using one building. I put out 290 flyers. Now I gotta go put out another 290 flyers. Now I gotta go do it a third time, and you're gonna quit after some point. But because we were coupling the technologies together, you get a text message through new link, and that was it. 2 clicks.